Father, it's Natsuhi.
Welcome back.
Oh yeah, welcome back.
Come on.
I was so ready to continue.
So ready.
Ah,
Everything's just going so fast paced. We can't slow down to even say hi
It's
to the
impossible. Besides which, look at that face.
Oh, look at that
She's so
face.
distraught. She has the biggest headache.
So, last time, Twilight's happened, corpses disappeared, Chinese references.
Yeah.
All very wacky.
3 empires warring, and then a 4th one takes over.
Yeah.
Who's let in as an advisor.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
It's Battler.
You think so?
It's gonna be Battler.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And what else? Oh boy.
Anything else stick out to you? Corpses?
So Kraus was missing. I don't remember what the tip was we got. In fact, actually, let's
I mean, you can check it.
yeah, let's go check. So we just went and checked the tips because I'd forgotten what they were because it was a week ago.
Yay.
It was all of the same except it wasn't Kraus, it was Hideyoshi with a stake in his back.
Yep, bit different.
So, interesting. I guess we'll see how that happens.
We shall see what happens.
I don't know, I'm not too concerned about this. Easy.
Let's go.
Easy game, easy life.
Easy, yeah. Father, it's Natsuhi. Good morning.
There's no way he'll wake up if you do it like that. Father, it's Ava. Please wake up. It's an emergency.
Ava pushed Natsuhi aside and knocked repeatedly with all her strength. Quiet down, you're being too boisterous.
Is now really the time to be saying something like that?
So he isn't picking up the phone, and he isn't responding or knocking either. That's troublesome. He might be in a bad mood again. Kinzo-san sometimes considers even the slightest change to be an omen, and gets into a bad mood for reasons only he can understand. Oh, yes, that's true. This isn't something that started today.
Is that how badly Grandfather wants to shut himself away in the study? Yes. It's not uncommon for him to stay in his study for more than a month at a time. Don't
tell anyone, but even though I work here, I sometimes forget that the master even lives here. Goda, that's the sort of thing a servant should... not the sort of thing a servant should be saying. She really just minced her words just then. She's panicking. My apologies, madam. I am truly sorry.
Truly, Ben is the greatest actor.
Look, I was playing the character. Anyway, isn't it bad that we can't get in contact with him? In the worst case, Father might not even know there's been a crime, right? Well, I wonder... Keenly noticing that people were starting to doubt Kinzo's existence, kind of mumbled those words. Who was the last person to meet Father, and when?
It was Natsuhi 2 years ago.
Nailed it.
There we go.
Thank you.
$1 million question.
It was me. Last night, up until the time of the uproar from when Battler found the gold, I was in Father's study giving the daily report. So, at around 11 p.m. last night...
What a fucking grin that was.
It's great. No way around it. Let's open it up. What did you say? This is the family head's precious study and research room. No one is permitted to trespass without permission, okay?
Who here holds the highest rank? Me, right? I'm third in rank of Bashirami of family. If we open it and get scolded by Father, that's also the responsibility of the highest ranked. Because of the urgent circumstances, we will open this door. You have a key, right? Open it.
I believe you'll know this, but the study door cannot be opened with the master key.
The master's recently taken away Genji-sama's key as well, so he has both keys on his person. Therefore, So both of the keys that can open the door are inside the study.
A closed room? Good. It's finally starting to get a little interesting. It'd be pretty neat if Kinzo-san was lying on the bed in there with his throat cut. You're being far too indiscreet, Erika-san! Anyway, as you know, this door can only be opened by the keys that Father has. That means anyone, even a murderer, would find it impossible to even touch Father from outside the room. So Father must be okay.
Still, that doesn't mean we should worry about confirming his safety. Shouldn't we? Words.
I know.
Are you really so unconcerned for the safety of the Father you respect so much?
That isn't... The atmosphere, which had been so agitated a second ago, suddenly went cold, and an eerie feeling filled the room as everyone stared at Natsuhi. They could understand why Natsuhi would protect the study under normal circumstances. People knew that she probably didn't want to disturb the research of Kinzo, a man she certainly respected. and she was therefore trying to keep the unpleasant relatives away.
Certainly respected.
Certainly respected. However, this was an extraordinary situation. A murder had occurred. Natsu's persistence in keeping things quiet for Kinzo, even in a situation like this, was hard to understand using common sense. There's a good chance that the crime occurring on this island would turn out to be the plotline murders mimicking the epitaph. It's probably a good idea to assume that the crimes will continue. If we view these as plotline murders, then it will keep going until a total of 13 lives are taken. Do you have any concept of how many victims that would be? Wait a sec. How many people do you think there are on this island? Wouldn't that be almost everyone? No. You've got it all wrong. As far as I know, the mystery novel with the most dead people in a serial murder was And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, which had 10 deaths. In the realm of Japanese mysteries is probably the Tokyo Zodiac Murders by Shimada Soji, though there were less than 10 deaths in that one. Did you know, if 13 people die, as it seems they will, it'll lead to the most infamous and famous development in the history of the mystery genre, the completion of a 13-person serial murder case, right?
And then we'll do it 8 times over just to rub in how great we are.
How great is this murder mystery? And if everyone on this island is killed, that'll make it a historical achievement in the world of serial murder mysteries, with even more deaths than the longest murder mystery in the world, and the longest one in Japan put together, don't you see? Hey, didn't you know, everyone? The culprit in this crime is giving us an incredible challenge, one that might even surpass all the mysteries throughout the world and throughout history. Of course, everyone realized that long ago, right?
Of course, Erica. You fountain of bullshit.
If you like mystery, Christie's a must-read. If you're Japanese, then it's only natural that you've read Shimada Soji's work all the way through. Are you sure you've been reading enough, everyone?
I don't know if I've said this on recording, but I have such a soft spot in my heart for Erica because she's exactly like certain villains that I've written for various things.
She's pretty much the worst.
It's beautiful. She's just so bad that it is absolutely indefensible. But she's also like not explicitly evil. It's brilliant. I love her, the way that she's written. It's useless.
Huh?
Looks like you haven't read enough yourself.
Did I say something wrong? Erica, who had been chatting happily by herself, all by herself, up until a second ago, changed her expression to a displeased glare in an instant.
What are you saying about the Japanese mystery genre? Sakaguchi Ango's non-serial murders beats the Zodiac murders.
The number of people was the same in both, right?
They tied for the record, but non-serial murders was the first published in 1947. The Zodiac murders was 1981. If you know so much about it, shouldn't you have mentioned non-serial murders first?
Yeah, Erica glared at Battler with an expression that couldn't be fully described with the word shock.
We gotta see that one.
Let's see it. Oh!
It's better in this one.
It definitely is.
Definitely.
And her arms shook as she stood there, lost for words.
That's so totally lame! Well, that's understandable. Wow, it's almost like Lambda's controlling Battler's piece and making fun of Burn.
Crazy.
Crimes in Zodiac took place in 1936, right? That must have gotten her confused, right?
Lambda Delta kept on hitting the table, overcome with laughter. Even Benkasa, who had been struck with humiliation, snorted and started pounding the table and laughing in the same way. This is just too good. Not bad, Peace Battler. I'm impressed. You must read a lot, don't you, Battler-san?
Books? I hardly read those at all.
You liar. You know quite a lot, don't you?
Never say something as arrogant as I'm a book reader. A book reader is something a person who doesn't even read 100 per year should say so lightly, don't you think? Fucking having a dig, boys.
You mere piece. Anyway, we can't let such a massive crime take place. That's right. At any rate, checking dead safety is our first priority right now, but what should we do?
Climb the outside of the building and break in the window.
He's ignoring the phone now, knocks. The keys are inside. There's nothing we can do. I was supposed to knock this thick door down.
Throw a rock in the window and hope he comes and checks it.
That won't be easy.
Father might have been attacked by someone and severely injured, and maybe he's waiting for someone to help him. This is an extraordinary circumstance. Even Father will understand, and if he has any rebukes, I'll happily take responsibility myself.
But breaking down a door would be quite rude. What about the window?
Yay, Kyrie!
That's right. The window. Is there a ladder somewhere that can reach as high as the 3rd floor? We should be able to get inside by smashing the window. Erica finally came back to her senses and her tone regained its decisive edge.
I'm actually surprised that they suggested this. I was kind of just throwing a joke down.
Yeah.
Because so far,
I mean, there's only so many ways into the room, right? It's obvious. It's only natural they would suggest the window.
I guess. But so far, she's kind of avoided, like, being... Let's just...
Smash things and break things.
Yeah,
definitely.
like, you know...
Well, he's also avoided going back to crime scenes, but Natsu went back to... things are different.
Things are very different.
Things are different.
It's almost in support of the things that I've been writing.
It's almost like there's a different game master.
Link in the description if it's done at this point, which it hopefully
probably
will be.
I hope so.
Hopefully I'll finish it tomorrow.
At the rate we're recording these, I hope it's done by the time this comes out.
Right?
The 3rd story window, that would be dangerous. We won't know unless we try. Is there a ladder around here that could reach up there 3 floors? I don't think the ladder in the guarding shed is long enough. Oh, then what about the ladder in the boiler room? I remember using it earlier when a bird made a nest on top of the rain gutter. Yes, that would be able to reach it without a doubt. He must have been extremely happy, damn straight, about thinking of something Cannon hadn't. Looking pleased with himself as though he had won something, he glanced around at everyone. He was probably hoping that Nancy would praise him, but she quickly avoided his gaze. Of course, Cannon had known about that letter too. However, in order to protect Kinzo's secret, he'd intentionally pretended to have forgotten.
But this weather and the strong winds, isn't this just too dangerous?
I agree. If someone gets seriously injured, we can't go to a hospital until tomorrow, right? The wind might not be as strong in the courtyard. I think it's at least worth it to take a look. But truly, going up to the 3rd floor will be quite a challenge. Back when we had to clean up the bird's nest, most of the servants shrank away from the danger. And that's when I, your humble servant, took on a major role in spectacularly handling the situation. Yeah! To victory!
Spectacularly handling the situation.
Can you tell why I gave him this voice? Because fuck,
yes, I've been able to tell for a very long time.
He's so good. He's so happy. Right. Then there's no problem. Let's just get a ladder that'll reach.
And it looks like someone here already has experience with that sort of thing. He's just the dumbest piece of shit.
I love him.
It's like, yes, I would have done this thing that could possibly implicate me to the crime. Fuck.
Rip. Ah, shit.
I think this is the first time we've seen this shot. We've seen, like, the left-hand side of it before.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen this shot before. The courtyard was surrounded on all 4 sides, so while the rain was still fierce, the winds had almost no effect. Fortunately, the ceiling jutted out a bit, so even the rain wasn't so bad. Okay, let's try staying the ladder up. Be careful, don't hurt yourself.
Sure.
Rudolph and Battler carried the special ladder, which was designed for work on high places. 2 umbrellas followed the pair.
Yeah, that's the shot we've seen before.
Yeah. Shannon and Cannon were holding umbrellas and sheltering them from the rain. It doesn't matter if we get wet. Go back under the eaves. Go to Sam. Even if there's something wrong with your knees, you can at least hold a ladder down, right? Oh, yes.
So that was the excuse he used.
Yeah. If only I had enough Hillaranan. Going up a ladder would be no problem at all. I am truly sorry. I need to find out what that is.
Yep.
Gerda clambered forward to replace Shannon and Cannon. As she watched this, Kyrie giggled.
Dad, hammer?
Cool. Battler, you love athletics, don't you?
Not as much as I love my cool handyman dad.
Aw, you little brat. Sheesh, I guess I gotta show this son of mine my good side every once in a while. Battler, go to sand, hold that ladder down tight, and make sure you're looking up, okay? My hand might slip and you'll have this hammer tumble down on you.
Don't worry, I'll catch it and smash your head in.
After putting the hammer they'd gotten to smash the window in his pocket and cracking his knuckles, Rudolph started climbing.
Will Rudolph somehow be okay?
He'll be fine. That guy could totally be in an action movie. Plus, sports are one of his strong points. I wish you'd tell me how my skating powers are supposed to help me climb ladders. I'm in a bower, always in a big pinch, or whatever. Something. He'll manage to avoid dying, so there's nothing to worry about. More importantly, we're equally lucky the shutters aren't down.
Really?
Isn't it a common practice to lower the shutters to further study for the night?
Yes. When we're permitted to enter and exit, we open and close them in the morning and at night.
However, I think it was decided that such a thing was unnecessary for the time being, so it was left open. I see. Father will be pretty mad, won't he? If his son smashes his window and comes in while he's sleeping. That's probably... It'd be wonderful if we didn't have to smash the window, don't you think? Both Shannon and Cannon knew that Kinzo no longer existed in this world. Natsu had ordered them to interfere as much as possible, but now that it had come to this, there was nothing the two of them could do. They had tried to interfere by pretending they didn't know about a ladder that could reach up to the 3rd floor window, but because of Goda's showing off, that ladder had been found. He's truly the missing piece of the puzzle, that Goda. I love him. Rudolph carefully climbed the ladder. He would reach the 3rd floor window very soon. As he did this, Shannon and Cannon stared at him, looking uneasy. After this, what will happen next? To the two of them, to Madame, to the Master. Very soon, Rudolph will reach the window. So, it's already the end of this room's barrier.
Ha ha! The soldiers are scaling the ramparts, trying to reach the other side. The moment of surrender is truly right before our eyes. I am prepared to be erased at any moment.
We can't let that happen. You have to remain alive, even if it means crawling through the dirt. I'll think about what to do next. For now, escape from this place.
You may say that, but what can I do? Ava and the rest are still camped out in the hallway, and Rudolph is approaching from the window. There's no way of retreat through the door or the window.
In that case, perhaps you could hide under the bed.
Throwback!
Throwback!
So I'm not even permitted the chance to wait for the enemy's arrival in my throne.
You might have done that while you were still alive, but now you're a ghost that Natsu and I brought to life. Ghosts should do what ghosts do best and hide under the bed or in a closet.
Will something like that really deceive their eyes? My. Don't worry, I'll be with you. I'll let you escape at the last moment. It'll be dangerous for you. Even though you're a demon, you won't get away unscathed if you're burned by the magic-resisting toxin. Don't worry about that. Anyway, I need things to get at least that bad before my heart starts pumping. How comforting. I understand. I'll hide under the bed.
Milady, Rudolph will reach the window very soon. Garp, I've changed my mind. I'll guard this place. Hide yourself along with Runaway. What did you say? You've got it backwards. Didn't we plan to leave this place to Garp and have you retreat, milady?
Isn't that also what she just said she was changing? I don't know why you're confused, Brunove.
The Runaway should have been used to her fickleness. This surprised him for the first time in a long while. Beata may have been a powerful queen, but she was also an important piece that must be exposed to danger. If she was strong, running to the front lines without any plan would not be a praiseworthy move.
What kind of whim is this?
It's just a whim. I'm not so fond of boredom that I could simply sip tea while leaving everything to you. I've just gotten the urge to jump into the struggle right away.
I understand. It is your game after all. You can do as you wish. I'll carefully watch over the corpses at the first twilight that I raise, making sure nothing happens to them.
Sorry for stealing your time to shine. Is this really acceptable, milady? You should know I like showing off even more than my 3 meals a day. I've done nothing but gobble up Garp's turn. Don't worry about it. Renové and Garp both fell silent. The two of them had already noticed. Lady Bencastle, who used Fruta Erica as a piece, was a terrifying opponent. This fight would probably be terrifying as well. Beata could expose Garp, her friend, to this danger. Beata bluffed and said that this wasn't the case, but Renové and Garp had already figured it out. Therefore, after confirming Beata's resolve one last time and seeing that she was completely firm in her decision, they nodded in silence and accepted it.
I understand. I'll leave this place to you. I'm rooting for you. Take care.
Yeah. Please watch over my efforts to your heart's content. Lady Bencastle would probably start trying to expose Kinzo's absence with a closed room arguments. Fights in a closed room are normally Garp's area of expertise. Queens are commanders because they are best at fighting in wide open areas. This won't be an easy fight. I'm fully aware of that. I currently serve Nazi. Watching Nazi's danger from above and letting Garp take care of it doesn't make much sense to me. Understood. I wish you luck in battle.
Be careful. If it becomes a complete closed room, we won't be able to come in and help you.
I'll laugh at them a bit, and if things get bad, I'll just grab Kinzo and run for it. It's easy! With the door and the window, the past and the future to choose from, there are plenty of places to run to. Of course, I would let this become a closed room.
But you won't see us, we'll be cheering you on from very close by. Good luck.
Sure. Garp and Renovate became a swarm of gold butterflies and disappeared, and Kinzo melted into the darkness beneath the bed. Then Beato also became a swarm of gold butterflies and melted away inside the study. After that, all figures and signs of life had disappeared from the study and had once more regained a silence as though no one had been there from the beginning. Then, Rudolph's outline slipped into view from beyond the window's curtain. Dad! If you're there, answer! Dad! As he yelled, he hit the window. His foothold was so uncertain that just hitting the window felt life-threatening. But of course, this was Rudolph, the show-off. Deciding that he couldn't do anything stupid with so many people watching from below, he suppressed the fear from being so high up, and boldly knocked on the window.
Come on, grandfather. Can he hear?
I wonder! I hope he doesn't drop the hammer! How many seconds have passed? Thank you. It's been 30 seconds since he knocked on the window.
So, he really smashed it? The master will be very mad.
Well, someone was kind enough to brag about how accepting that anger was her duty, so there's no need to worry. Rudolph-san, that's enough. Do it.
Thank goodness he can hear through this fucking typhoon.
Well, there's less wind in the courtyard.
I
of the
guess.
Walls. I'm just saying.
But the third floor is also at the top.
It's true. Whatever. Sure. Damn it, Dad, you better not complain after I smash it. He hit it several times, and eventually a fist-sized hole opened up in the glass. Because of his unstable footing, this took a lot of effort. Using the end of the hammer skillfully, he brushed aside the now fractured bit of glass and opened the hole further. Stuck his head in through it, and unlocked the window. Then after a hard struggle, Rudolph somehow managed to open the window and his body slipped through into the study. After that, he flopped onto the floor, using his entire body to enjoy the relief of having a ground under him. Dad, it's Rudolph. Answer me. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that Kinzo's study was a small villa he'd created inside the mansion. A study, a library, a place to sleep, and a bathroom and washroom. It was divided into multiple rooms. That's right. With all this at your fingertips, it wouldn't be hard to spend your days in this study without leaving at all. The bed was empty. There were marks on it that made it seem as though someone had slipped out, but there was no one in sight. This happens a lot in ninja movies. Someone finds that the bed is still warm so the occupant couldn't have gone far. Rudolph tried placing his hand on the bed, but he couldn't find any heat at all. Not only was there no heat, it felt completely ice cold. And the bed wasn't the only thing that was ice cold. The air inside the room, and even the presence about it, if that's the right word for it, even that felt ice cold. To Rudolph, it felt as though Kinzo had slipped out of this room a long time ago. However, it's been well cleaned. It has signs of having been lived in. Wrinkles in the bed, the slight angle of the chair. Here and there were many marks that would doubtlessly have been cleaned or fixed up if someone had come in to make the beds. As far as I can tell off the top of my head, Dad must have slipped out of bed several hours ago at the latest. That would be the same general time period as the brutal murder case. Guess we can't be sure. Guess we can't be sure Kinzo's absence and the crime are completely unrelated. For the time being, he leaned out the window and told Kyrie and the others in the courtyard to come back up, saying he was going to unlock the door. Then he pushed the button on the study desk and released the door's auto-lock. There was a heavy clunking sound and Nazi and the rest dashed in immediately. Father! Good morning! Sir, but it isn't Dad. I'm the one who opened it. Was Kinzo-san there? Nope. It looks like someone slipped out of the bed, but you can't tell what happened or
I was
when that
kind of
happened.
hoping Rudolph was going to say he threw him out a window. Just for that last flashback to game 1. Natsuri-san was the last person to meet him, right? At around 11 o'clock last night. Wonder if that means he slipped out of the study sometime after that and went somewhere else.
That's Well, we must consider father's fickle nature. It wasn't at all uncommon for him to suddenly wake up in the middle of the night claiming to have had a revelation in a dream and walk around the mansion. Isn't that right, Dr. Najo?
True, this has happened before. Anyway, he is a fickle person. Right, Kumasawa-san?
Oh, that's true.
I feel like the bouncing from person to person is making it more suspicious than
It's
it has
fun.
any need to be.
It's fun, though. Perhaps he had a strange dream and slipped out of bed. That isn't uncommon at all. Yes, yes.
Where did he slip off to? Does this mean there's a good chance father's been caught up in this crime?
See? Should have checked to make sure father was safe from the beginning, right? We can't be sure he isn't in this room. Maybe the culprit tied him up and locked him in the closet or something like that.
Good point. Let's search. This is the head's precious study. You mustn't touch things without reason. Ah, yeah, that's right. There's something I need to tell you, culprit-san. When Natsu heard this said right in front of her, her heart froze. But Eric had only just happened to be standing right in front of Natsu when she said it. She had directed her words to the room at large. She hadn't been speaking to Natsu in particular. Natsu turned her back to Erica, trying to prevent her faltering expression from being noticed. I have a photographic memory. If you try to alter the crime scene by hiding some evidence, I'll know right away. Please don't slip up here and disappoint me. Any mystery where the whodunit is solved by a culprit slip-up or misspeak is only third-rate, don't you think? I don't understand what you're saying, but try to refrain from incautious remarks. Father, are you there? Please answer me! Natsu started walking around and calling out in a loud voice, refusing to let Erica say any more. There was a knock. Curie and the others who had gone down to the courtyard had returned. So father isn't here after all. He might be tied up and shut away somewhere around here. We were just searching for him.
Surprised he managed to shut himself away in a place like this for all that time. I gotta say,
Yeah?
I feel like that shot of Battler Shannon and Cannon
flanking
was
him?
so fucking intentional.
That was great.
Because there is no reason for them to be having that shot, because he just fucking disappeared the moment he said what he needed to say.
Sure.
So fucking on purpose.
Give it up, Nay-san. We can't change anything now.
I wonder what Madame plans to do.
Get paid back for all the lies she's told up until now. Shh. Let's leave fate in God's hands.
Yes.
Not happy. Many people clambered around Kinzo's vast study, looking here and there, inside the closet and in the bathtub, even in the refrigerator and under the study desk. They looked everywhere, almost as though they were it in a game of hide and seek. However, not only were they unable to spot Kinzo, they couldn't even find a single suspicious mark. It seems clear that Father isn't here. That's enough. Please don't disturb Father's precious study any further. That's right. There's nothing the Master hates more than having things moving around without his permission.
Father's nowhere to be found. Maybe he really was caught up in the crime.
Though we can't be sure of that. Natsu averted her gaze once more. It's okay, Natsu. We truly do have our backs against the wall. On the off chance that someone entered the study, I had planned to trick them by saying he'd probably gone for a walk somewhere. However...
No one would believe that I'd get dressed up for a casual midnight stroll in a mansion where a murder has occurred and many people have been killed. Though I wouldn't put it past myself to do such a thing.
I love that line. Come now, Kinzo. Be a good boy and hide under the bed. It's okay, Natsu. You may remain calm. It's possible to prove that someone exists, but you can't prove that someone doesn't exist. In other words, the human world is one in which, regardless of whether something exists or not, you can make it so that they exist. And the shadows that can make such a thing exist are themselves the world of us witches, the world of demons. You mean a devil's proof?
What?
Yes, so don't worry. The power of demons will most certainly protect you. If it could protect the honor of father and my husband, I wouldn't mind sacrificing this body of mine to demons. Your resolve is good. Don't be anxious. I most certainly will not let Kinzo be killed. At that time, a dry sound suddenly rang out twice. Erica had clapped her hands, seeking everyone's attention.
I was really hoping it would be the phone again, just for more throwbacks to episode 1.
Just to fuck us over. Though such an action should have been above the guest's place, For some reason, it already felt like a natural right of hers. After all, she was the detective. I think that's enough. Assure me Kinzo-san is nowhere to be found in this study. Wait, not yet. It'll happen though.
Fucking get your head in the game.
Yeah, we've searched everywhere he could have been hiding. There's nowhere to be seen.
Furthermore, we found nothing that looks suspicious.
Yes, we didn't find anything at all. Erica said it again. They hadn't been able to discover anything. In that case, we mustn't loiter around this room. Do you understand how angry Father would be if he learned that so many people were looking through his study? Eva-san, you said you were prepared to take responsibility, didn't you?
Never mind the fucking broken window.
Are you prepared for him to break off relations with you for the rest of your life?
That's for Father to decide, not you.
Silence, please. I'd like to lay out the situation. At 11 p.m. last night, the last person to meet Kinzo-san in this room was Natsu-san, right? Can anyone confirm that?
Confirm?
Yes, that's right. After all, the only one who claims that Natsu-san really did stop by here at 11 p.m. last night is Natsu-san herself. There wouldn't be a problem if Kinzo-san confirmed that Natsu-san really did come here last night, but that vital witness isn't here. So you're saying alibis are the foundation of a mystery? Yes, that's right. Alibis are important. Of course, they're almost useless when it comes to the actual theory making, but it's common courtesy to poke around these boxes.
Huh. Even though you didn't ask for alibis regarding last night's murder, you're doing it for grandfather's disappearance? Really are a fickle person.
Oh, don't worry. Have no fear that I will fully examine everyone's alibis regarding the murders of the first Twilight later. So, can anyone confirm that Natsu-san visited here at 11 o'clock? If no one can, we'll be forced to doubt whether Natsu-san really was the last person to spot him. Are you saying that I can't be trusted? No, it's actually the opposite. I hope that you aren't the culprit. After all, that'd make this really boring. Only the worst third-rate mysteries had the most suspicious person as the culprit. Natsu-san is suspicious? Wait a second. How can you say that? He's right! Calling Madame suspicious is the height of discourtesy. Be quiet. Dr. Najo Goda, thank you. Erika-san, do you have some sort of proof to justify such a rude outburst? Yes. Though it's so simple that it annoys me. Sorry to bother you with this TV drama quality evidence, but if you don't mind.
Why don't you just let us hear it?
When Battler glared at her, a cold expression rose to Erica's face for an instant, but it was only for an instant. After smiling peacefully and gazing around at everyone, she started to talk. She looked like the main character in a play, who had come out onto the stage, bathed in the spotlight. It's about this morning. Please remember the time after the murders occurred, during the big uproar that followed. We wanted to tell Kinzo-san about the crime, but he wouldn't come out no matter how many times we called him on the telephone. Remember that time?
Anyway, isn't it bad that we can't get in contact with him? In the worst case, Father might not even know there's been a crime, right? Well, I wonder.
Keenly noticing that people were starting to doubt Kinzo's existence, Cannon mumbled those words. Who was the last person to meet Father, and when? It was me! Last night! Up until the time of the uproar from when Battler found the gold, I was in Father's study giving the daily report. So at around 11 p.m. last night? Erica chuckled significantly. And what's your point? Ridiculous! I think Kirie-san probably did that intentionally. Am I right?
What do you mean by that?
I had hoped someone might fall for it. I see. Thanks, Kirie-san. Actually, I was planning to say the same thing if you didn't.
Is who saw the master last really that important?
Yes, if we take the circumstances into account, then in response to the question, who met him last, it was very odd for Natsu-san to instantly answer, me.
Why? Madam told the truth without hiding anything.
Be quiet. Why do you think it was odd? Why are you so sure that no one else met Kinzo-san after 11 p.m.? Well, that's because I watched as he went to bed. It's only natural to assume that he would then sleep until morning and not meet with anyone. Considering the circumstances, it was easy to suspect the last person to spot him of having some kind of involvement with this case. A normal person in Natsu-san's position wouldn't say, I was the last person to meet him, I met him at 11 p.m. Right, Kirie-san? Yes, that's correct. A normal person would say, I met him at 11 p.m. However, I'm not sure I was the last person to meet him. Something like that. Good. Claiming to be the last witness is usually quite difficult. That is, unless you know something that makes you sure there were no other witnesses after you. In third-rate mysteries, the last one to spot the victim is often the culprit. They killed the victim themselves so they know that no one else could have met the culprit later on, is how the argument goes. Oh, wouldn't that be nothing more than a minor misspeak? It's not important enough to be picked up out of the blue and focused on.
Yes, that's nothing more than nitpicking. Isn't it a little too early to suspect Natsui-san because of a little slip of the tongue like that? Furthermore, you said she'd need a reason to be sure no one else spotted the master, but of course, she had such a reason. She left the room after seeing the master go to bed. Following common sense, it's perfectly natural to assume that he probably wouldn't meet anyone else until the next morning.
On today's episode of the Accomplice Roundup.
Yeah.
No, that isn't natural at all. After all, Natsu-san, Dr. Nanjo, and Kumasawa-san all made this claim a short while ago. Please, try to remember.
Natsui-san was the last person to meet him, right? At around 11 o'clock last night. Wonder if that means he slipped out of the study sometime after that and went somewhere else.
Well, we must consider Father's fickle nature. It wasn't at all uncommon for him to suddenly wake in the middle of the night, claiming to have had a revelation in a dream, and walk around to the mansion. Isn't that right, Dr. Nanjo?
True, this has happened before. Anyway, he is a fickle person. Right, Kumasawa-san?
Oh, that's true. Perhaps he had a strange dream and slipped out of bed. That isn't uncommon at all, yes.
Yeah, we definitely do have testimony. It wasn't at all uncommon for grandfather to suddenly slip out of bed late at night.
Good. Your memory's not bad, Butler-san. In other words, it's common knowledge to those in the Ashumi head house, Natsu-san included, that Kinzo-san might wake up in the middle of any given night on a whim and wander around. On top of that, they're aware that this happens quite often.
Isn't that odd? If you knew father often wanders around at night, there's no way you could be certain that he'd stay in bed until morning, right?
It really is like a third-rate mystery. You know that thing they do in the last 5 minutes where the couple asks, "Where did you first realize it was me?" and the detective answers.
Seriously, that's why I feel let down. If it turns out Natsu-san really is the culprit, this will be worse than a TV mystery. That's why I want to clear away the suspicion surrounding Natsu-san as soon as I can. I want to make sure this mystery isn't third-rate before I do anything else.
There's no need to get anxious, Natsu. There's a classic word game used by detective wannabes. What exactly is her point? How could you possibly corner you with this accusation alone? In the court of hell, all the demon jurors will declare you innocent. So calm down and don't get flustered.
Maybe true that Natsui looks suspicious when you say it like that. Still, it sounds like you're just nitpicking to me. But it is suspicious. Isn't this more than enough reason to suspect that Natsui-san's hiding something?
Of all the unfair accusations and how cowardly have you Eva-san? You're the sole person who can confirm that I really was here at 11 o'clock, weren't you?
Is this true, Eva-san?
Oh, did that happen? I'm sorry. At the time, I was losing my head because of the recently discovered gold, so I forgot all about bumping into Natsui-san until just a second ago.
So, Eva-san, you can confirm that Natsu-san was a witness at 11 o'clock?
Yes, unfortunately, I'm able to acknowledge that one part of Natsui-san's story, but only that she came out of this room.
What are you implying?
Oh, I'll tell you. In fact, I've wanted to say this for a long time now. I do realize it's improper to bring this up in the middle of such a tragic murder case, but the timing now is just too perfect. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Natsui-san?
Servants gulped and held their breaths. It seemed that they hadn't been able to hide it after all. In the middle of this heavy silence, Eva fingered her trump card and Natsu tried to act calm. With space and time grew heavy as lead and swallowed up everything. Just when did Kinzo-san disappear, I wonder? Erika's words, spoken almost casually, tore that atmosphere to pieces like shattering glass.
Simply put, we haven't met him once at the family conferences this year or last. That's right. We suspected it since last year. Seeing as how my son and the others have just been killed, this may not be the time or place to press you on this, but there's a chance that this has something to do with the crime, so pressing you is just what we'll do.
It's possible that you have a motive for hiding Father's death. We have reason to suspect that you've been embezzling his assets.
If Father were to die, an investigation would be conducted for the distribution of the assets and your embezzlement would be exposed. That's why you hid the fact Father's already dead.
I see. That's more than enough for the why done it. This keeps getting more and more third-rate. Ah, boring.
I don't know what you're talking about. You say I'm hiding the head's death? I most certainly would forgive such a reckless accusation. That's right! In addition to Madame, the other servants take care of the master on a daily basis, and they see him all the time. Genji-san, Shannon-san, and Ganon-gun, even Dr. Najo and Kumasawa-san meet with him often. Perhaps because he doesn't trust me, I haven't seen him even once this last year, but, Be quiet, Goda! Eek! My apologies!
Aren't all of the witnesses beside Natsui-san servants employed by her? So you use money to make them follow your story? Ah, man. This is really third rate. Pitiful, pitiful. I'm disappointed, Natsui-san, so I guess I'll have to finish this now.
Finish what?
Ashumiya Kinzo-san.
What is it, uninvited guest?
You don't exist, do you? You're a ghost whose death was concealed by those humans who didn't want it known because of the inheritance problem. Ghosts are supposed to quickly pass on to the next world. Even though this is the first time we've met, I've yet to give you a proper greeting. My apologies. Good day. Pleased to meet you, and goodbye. So close to Erika's face that you could barely have wedged a sheet of paper between them, Beata's pipe came to a sudden stop.
And a good day to you too! I am the Yoshimi of Valley Beatrice the Golden. I'll be your opponent in this fight from here on out.
Glad to meet you. I'm the detective of this game, Fuda Erika. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And now, goodbye.
So, you're Lady Van Castle's next piece after Angie. I'm afraid I didn't get to fight with her to my satisfaction in the end. I'm glad I'll be able to lock horns with you this time. Lady Van Castle's piece!
My master is almighty, omnipotent. A fool like you couldn't even begin to compare with her. I accept your challenge.
You really are calm. Even though a witch has appeared before you and is about to fight with magic and fantasy. If you're a battler, you'll be lying on the ground screaming that this can't possibly be a mystery anymore.
Yeah, even in the mystery genre, parallel universes like this have gotten popular lately. You know about pure reasoning space and all that.
Ayatsuji Yukato doesn't make his debut until next year.
You sure are picky for a witch.
You think you're on the same level as a witch? Don't be so full of yourself, you mere human!
Beata snapped her fingers. Something bounced around the room at terrifying speeds. It was a stake of the witch, a witch's wedge that contained the power of the blue truth within it. Of course, a mere human like Erika couldn't follow that terrible speed with her eyes. Erika understood this, so she didn't attempt to look every which way, stupidly trying to spot it.
Eat this, fool!
Hey, get wrecked!
With a terrible sound, Lucifer's blue stake buried itself into Erika's right collarbone. It pierced all the way through her back. Lucifer spun and rebounded, landed in front of Beato, and vanished with a shrill laugh. Erika wasn't blown back, but she had been run through by the blue wedge. So, this is that so-called blue truth. Well then, let me hear your views.
You can't deny the possibility that Natsu met with Kinzo at 11 o'clock. During the 6 hours or more before you pushed your way into the study, Kinzo had many chances to escape from it. Because of this, you can't state decisively that Kinzo doesn't exist. Beato announced that with an expression worthy of her title as a witch. Erika was silent. Was she too shocked to speak? There was no anguish in her expression. She was just quietly listening to Beata's blue truth. No. Judging by her disdainful expression, it's probably more appropriate to say that Beata's words went in one ear and out the other. Good. Let's start with the classic moves. By the way, this thing really is stuck good. I can't take it out. She tried pulling from the front and the back of the blue wedge that pierced her, but it didn't budge an inch. However, her indifferent, relaxed expression didn't budge an inch either. You can't take it out! The blue truth can only be defeated by the red truth. For one such as yourself, a guest who came to this island almost a day ago, there is no truth that can possibly be known. That means there exists no red that you can use. In other words, this is checkmate.
I see. So that's what kind of space this is. In that case, I'll need a piece suitable for fighting a witch. I'm the detective. My role is to take on the human culprit. You're a witch, and there does exist a fitting piece to use against witches and demons. Let me introduce you, Miss Lenore.
You're playing this character. I hope you're ready.
Ben?
You just realized, didn't you? You've seen this!
Yep. No, I haven't seen this character.
No.
But I used to always name my characters in like comics that I made names backwards.
Yep.
I know what that is.
I know. I know.
It looks like it's your turn.
Lenore?
I thought so. I was certain you'd bring that piece in sooner or later. The 10 wedges with which to hunt witches, the Archbishop of Witch Hunting, Glanor.
There's no more fitting piece in a battle against demons. I have my double Erica and the greatest natural enemy of witches, Lenore. I've now taken control of the 7th rank with my 2 rooks. Let me show you Lady Lambda Delta, and you too, Beatrice. Now you'll see how useless your struggling is.
So we've had the character's title before, but not the name.
Yo! There she is!
What?
She's beautiful!
The fuck is
She has a fucking rook for an arm!
What?
Show her that new image!
2 keys.
Show her that new image! Yo!
I think that's probably the closest
so
new
cute.
image to the old one.
I would agree. She's quiet as fuck.
That is ridiculous.
But yeah, this is your character, my dude.
Oh god.
Think emotionless.
Alright,
killer.
I'll do my canon impression.
Go for it. Probably closer to Genji, but still. Hey, I didn't get to say that line!
Didn't you?
No!
Oh, go ahead.
The air shone brightly, and the piece Erica had guided there showed its form. That form resembled a clergy member perfectly suited for confronting an evil witch.
It is a pleasure to meet you. Daniel A. Knox is my name.
Fuck yeah. Even though this space was like a bomb just waiting to go off, she introduced herself in a neat and frank manner. Did we get a tip for her?
I don't know. I didn't.
I think we did, but let's check.
We totally.
There she is. Go for it.
Lana A. Knox, a member of the.
Zung Jungfrau.
I know that means Iron Maiden.
Yeah, it does.
The 7th District Repentance Enforcement Agency of the Great Court of Heaven. An Arch-Inquisitor.
Head Inquisitor.
A Head Inquisitor of
He's an
Heresy.
Archbishop.
And a first-class Archbishop.
Yeah.
She is commonly known as Glanor of the 10 Wedges, or Death Sentence Glanor. The name Death Sentence comes from the fact that though Inquisitors of Heresy normally judge their targets to see whether they deserve the death penalty or not, Head Inquisitor Glanor is only dispatched after a case has been vigorously inspected by the Great Court. Therefore, the very act of dispatching her is equivalent to a sentence of death.
Fuck yes. I hope you're ready. You're reading all of her lines. That's what be very clear.
Her father was a legendary Inquisitor of Heresy, but he broke the rules and was executed. What?
Yep.
Okay. She was the one who performed his interrogation and execution. Since that time, she stopped growing, and both her body and mind remain eternally those of a young maiden. It is whispered that her heart also died at that moment, but she does not see it that way. Her primary weapons are the red key and the blue key, which take the form of a long sword and a short sword.
Lenore is amazing. I love her. You better do her justice.
I cannot promise anything.
You would better do her justice, or I'll be very disappointed. Okay. Even though this place felt like a bomb just waiting to go off, she introduced herself in a neat and frank manner. Her out-of-the-place appearance, completely different from those of the demons and witches, felt blatantly odd and had a kind of severity to it. This is the first time I've met you, but I've heard all the rumors. So, this doesn't truly feel like a first meeting.
The same goes for me, Miss Beatrice. Detailed materials Einsfern Jungfrau have on you are summarized in 600 pages. I always read such reports, so this doesn't feel like a first meeting to me either.
You better emphasize those words, motherfucker. The
don't
Secretary of Hell could summarize those 600 pages into 6 letters.
Allow me to ask
Danger.
a fitting summary. When I return, I will summarize the materials on you using only 2 letters more, out of respect.
More emphasis.
Executed. E-X-E-C-U-T-E-D.
That's why I'm C-U-T-E now. You're too polite, my guest.
Then let us continue. Miss Beatrice, I, Dlanor, the head inquisitor of heresy, do humbly accept my role as your opponent.
My first move is over. If you can't remove the blue wedge from that food Eric over there, then you might as well totter back up to heaven and get back to your usual boring job of snapping forms.
Please do something about this wedge thing. It looks like Beatrice thinks she's already achieved checkmate with this alone.
After making a show of tapping her finger on the blue wedge that pierced her, Erica shrugged as though taunting Beatrice. Beatrice, it's okay. I'm just toying with her a bit. After all, if things get bad, I can grab Kinzo and run out of here whenever I want. I can leave this room at any time and go anywhere.
That is useless.
Oh?
Let freedom
I
ring
love this
with a
face.
shotgun blast.
Look, get used to that fucking sound. Ugh.
Now that you've met up with me, this is your demise. Escape will not be permitted. None can escape. So weird trying
It's
to
great.
do that. Oh.
I believe in you.
Sure, we can't deny that it'd be possible for Father to suddenly wake up and go somewhere. But you know what? I can say for sure that such a thing couldn't have happened. You know why?
How could I know? Are you trying to say you stood outside this door all night, watching to make sure the head didn't take a step outside?
Yes, someone was watching. This kid right here.
Yeah, you're voicing these girls as well. Hope you're ready for this. Oh, justice time! Let's go.
Please allow me to speak. Let it be known that entering or exiting through this door is impossible. The palace guards are ordered to blockade the study door.
Oh shit! The doors to heaven open with a strong, unrelenting radiance like the sun's, announcing the arrival of Lenor's underlings.
Should look at this in new images.
Yeah, let's do it. Damn, looking stern.
This is ridiculous.
What's with the like bows? I don't know what's going on with our
It's a
outfit.
load of shit.
It's great.
These outfits are just getting worse.
It's amazing. Don't even question it. Oh my god. Those words were clad in the red truth and cut off the witch's method of escape. Here's the 410 right here. Here's the 45 right here. It has been some time, great Lady Beatrice. We were dispatched in accordance with Alliance Agreement number 1516 and a request from the Great Court of Heaven. We apologize for the rudeness that is to follow. We formed a position blockade on the study door now. I think it's best if you stay away from it now.
Allow me to speak. I say again, from last night at 2300 until the present time, the study door was not opened even once.
Yes.
I'm so out of voices.
It's okay.
Fucking tilted.
The people will understand, or they might hate you.
No, they'll hate
They
me.
might also hate you.
Oh god.
I know there are a couple of people who are looking forward to your Lenore voice, but it's okay. We can improve. We can become stronger.
Literally out.
We can become stronger.
I literally have nothing left.
But you better make more. What is that scrap of paper?
It's a completely ordinary receipt, but even so, this mere scrap of paper proves that you lied.
Last night, when you came out of the study, Ava saw a chance and wedged a receipt into the crack of the study door, and it fell down just now when Rudolph couldn't open the door for us.
Know what that means? In other words, from 11 o'clock last night until now, Father couldn't possibly have opened this door. What did you say? Rudolph, the window was locked, right?
Yeah, that's why I smashed the glass. The other windows are all locked as well. They're built so you can't lock them from the outside.
And another one.
This is the cute one.
No,
Get on it! Look, you gotta get excited. We got new characters.
I'm so done.
You need more voices. You can't be over. We're only in episode 5 of 8. We got plenty more of these characters to go.
I know, and that's the... Allow me to speak. Know that the windows were all locked. Palace guards blockaded all of the windows. By the name of Einstein Jungfrau, I gave the palace guards permission to make use of forbidden weapons.
Understood. Entire force, permission granted for use of forbidden weapon red warhead. Begin transmitting activation code. Yeah? The password doesn't work, yeah? 410, capsule coffin, try again. Siesta squad, position blockade for study door and all windows complete. We warn the great Lady Beatrice that if anything is caught passing through this physically, conceptually, or by any other method, we will shoot without warning. Data link from Archangel Satellite 4. Homing format, 30 model, conceptual guidance. And on top of that, we got red hole warheads. Yeah, impossible to shoot down, impossible to avoid, impossible to survive when hit. It'd smash even Lady Beatrice into little bits. Yeah. Siesta squad had laid down a pinpoint blockade over the door and all the windows. Escape would no longer be permitted through any of these. My! I should be doing the welcoming, but it seems I am the one being welcomed. I'm grateful for the courtesy call, and you've even brought the Siesta sisters.
Allow me to inform you that your paths of retreat have been cut off. Commanded Lana, let us now remove the sin and purify. You've done well, Miss Beatrice. I've had your paths of retreat terminated. You cannot leave through the door, nor can you leave through the windows.
Oh my god. More aggression, my boy.
What do you want me to fucking do? Therefore, escape will now be prohibited.
Better. You think you shut me in with this alone?
I can't wait for just entire lines of caps text. It's gonna
Let's
happen.
go. Let's go. The Inquisitor of Heresy in heaven and her subordinates surrounded the witch. The subordinates used a powerful barrier to cut off Beatrice's methods of escape. Demons tend to resist capture, and as a result, they sometimes escape. However, angels counter by blocking off passages of escape, allowing them to eradicate their targets without fail.
In other words, this study was a perfect closed room from the time Natsuine-san claimed she said goodnight to the time Rudolph opened the door.
In that case, Father would have to be here, but there's not even a trace of him. Come on, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. I keep telling you to calm down. The thought that I, Beatrice, could be shut in because the doors and windows are closed is simply laughable. Kinzo, I was just playing around, but it seems our guest has no such intentions. Let's withdraw before we lose our chance.
Yes. I do not regret losing this life of mine, but for Natsui's sake, I cannot die yet.
Beata waved her pipe and the air was split vertically. Then a pitch-black gate appeared there and slowly opened. It was a warp portal, the same as the pitch-black holes that Garp used. I believe this was written on my files. An elusive phantom can appear from anywhere and disappear to anywhere. As long as Kinzo has me, it will be impossible to capture him. The pitch-black gate opened. That gate led from everywhere and to nowhere. Both Beata and Kinzo would be sent to a place where no one could catch them. A place where no one could set foot in, much less chase after them. This is the study of the Ushiomi family head, and it is also a room that Father helped to design personally. Would it really be so strange if he had some way to get outside without using the door? Yes, that is correct. There would be nothing strange about the master having a hidden door or passageway.
A hidden door? And where would that be?
It's a hidden door, so I don't know. There are several devices and hidden doors in the magic that only Father knows of. Here we go, boys. No one has seen them directly, but everyone in this magic knows about them fakely, correct?
Yes.
It's true that there have always been rumors about hidden passages only the master knows of.
It's true that Kinzo-san would probably like devices such as that.
Oh, and they are hidden doors after all. No matter how much people such as ourselves might search, it's only natural that we won't find them. I see, so it's a devil's proof. You're saying we can't deny the possibility that a hidden door exists in this room.
That's nonsense, a farce. Even considering that you lie about concealing Father's death is about to be revealed, how dare you?
That's right. Just where in this study is there a hidden door? Try and prove that it exists.
Proof is unnecessary. It's a devil's proof. It's impossible to find a hidden door, and therefore impossible to disprove that it exists. Therefore, no one can deny the possibility that Kinzo escaped from this study through a hidden door. Here we go. Fuck yeah.
I will not allow a hidden door to exist in this room.
Beata's blue edge, which had been fired off as a farewell gift, was crushed with a flash of Delanor's longsword, and the pitch-black gate was crushed as well. And it wasn't just crushed visibly and physically, the warp portal conceptualizing hidden doors would remain destroyed from that point onward. Why can someone like you, who is neither the owner of the study nor the game master, use the red truth? And what was that? What do you mean you will not allow hidden doors to exist? It's because this is the mystery genre. Noxus Third is forbidden for hidden passages to exist. Hidden doors mustn't exist in the mystery genre. Sorry about that.
In this world, there are no other gods except our god, and no hidden doors exist. They must not exist, and we won't let them exist. They are blasphemy against our god.
Enough pride in you to shock a witch. It's so painful to watch that it's actually pleasurable.
Here it is, the 10 ways to pierce witches! Just like usual, it's a kind of irrational argument that I just love to hear.
What a fool. The devil's proof might have been vague enough to let you escape from everything until now, but now that you're up against Lenore, that move won't work anymore, Beatrice.
As I thought, you're no different from any witch after all. I'm disappointed. Beto, it seems this isn't an opponent we'll be able to escape from easily after all.
Please do entertain me, Beatrice, son. You should at least serve some tea for your guests.
I swear that the rule is that there's no more than one hidden passage, so there's still gonna be one.
Think so?
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter if it's third rate. Come on, please use the blue truth and tell me how Kinzo-san escaped from the closed room study. Very well. Make sure you don't cry. It's possible that after slipping out the door, Kinzo knows the trick with the receipt and correctly returned it to its original place.
Denial of that with the red has already been finished. After 11 o'clock, the door to the study was not opened even once.
Kinzo might have been a marvelous magician and inventor, right? He might have invented a drug that turns his body to mist and slips out through the keyhole.
No such drug exists. It must not exist.
Or maybe he invented a teleport device, right? That possibility is undeniable because of that devil's proof.
What the fuck is this play? This is awful.
It is awful.
Such a machine does not exist. I will not allow it to exist.
It just sometimes makes suboptimal moves. Oh, so you would examine every drug in the world? You can deny the existence of an unknown scientific device? There's no way you can. It's a devil's proof. You cannot deny that they might exist.
I will repeat, by the name of God, I will not let such a drug or machine exist. I will not allow them to exist for all eternity.
Not even in the future? So you think you can even deny possibilities in the future of the human race? It knocks us forth. It is forbidden for unknown drugs or hard to understand scientific devices to be used.
The progression of humanity, as well as techniques and knowledge that might be obtainable in the future, are decided upon by our God. The denial of their existence has been proclaimed for eternity. Therefore, I will not allow such a technique to exist for all eternity. It is not permitted.
Beto and Delnor had supposedly just gone through a massive exchange of red and blue. However, not only did Delnor not take any damage, she also showed no signs of fatigue. Beto might have been a fearsome witch, but blood flowed through her veins and she did breathe. She felt both pain and fatigue. But Delnor was like a doll made of marble. She felt no fatigue, no pain, no hesitation. Even if Beato's sharp wedges had been aimed right for Delnor's eyes, she wouldn't have shot them. In fact, it's doubtful that she ever blinked in the first place. Beatrice, hang in there! Well, I'd already heard the rumors, but our compatibility really is awful. To think that dreams, hopes, and even future possibilities would be forbidden. The pride of the gods is overwhelming. I expect no less from a witch-hunted executioner. It seems we'll never be able to enjoy a drink together. Even the strikes that had made Battler surrender over and over had absolutely no effect on Delnor. Well, I more or less knew that was coming, but to think that I'd be repelled so easily.
Quite a formidable opponent.
Oh my, so even the great goldsmith has gotten old and decrepit. Hearing those words come out of your mouth is rather rarer than seeing two comets in the night sky.
I'm not decrepit, I'm already dead.
That's true. Sorry, but I'm not letting you die for just a little bit longer. Beto experienced something that she'd only rarely felt during her entire life. It was probably what we'd call hardship. Beata quietly brushed aside Natsu's hand that tried to comfort her, and she regained her posture again, showing off her witch's pride and her continued readiness to fight.
Is that all? There was no need for me to come here. I'm disappointed.
I'm not done yet. I was just testing a few moves just now. I merely wish to measure your abilities.
How foolish. Know your place, Golden Witch.
Lady Beatrice. Beatrice's expression became tense once again. No longer was there any trace of mischief. The mood changed. The time for playing is over. Here I go. In that case, I shall acknowledge that Kinzo did not enter or leave the study. Why did I accept your closed room?
Let it be known that Beatrice has changed her pattern of attack.
Beatrice, who had until then thoroughly resisted the idea that a closed room existed, did an about-face. She proclaimed that she accepted their proposition. Of course, this didn't mean she'd surrendered. This was a new attack of Beata's. Glanor noticed this and readied herself. What's going on? Why did Lady Beatrice acknowledge the closed room when she's trying to destroy it now? She's probably trying to claim that Kinzo existed outside of this room. Confirmation that the great Lady Beatrice's warp portal is reactivated. Natsu claims to have talked with Kinzo in the study, but she never said that she spoke with him face to face. Therefore, if Kinzo was in a location other than the study, there's no contradiction as long as they held a conversation. After bouncing at an erratic angle, the witch's stake pierced the top of Delnor's foot.
You sure are slow. Top of the foot, all mine.
Natsu used the internal phone line in his study to speak with Kinzo, who's in another place. There'd be nothing strange if Kinzo, who hates relatives, predicted that they'd enter his study and left to go elsewhere. He might have gone to the hidden mansion, Kuvadorian. Asmodeus' stake, which contained the power of Beata's blue truth and pierced Lenor's foot, changed into a blue wedge. Not bad, that makes sense, nya? Blue truth, valid. A cyclone of gold butterflies swept up with Beato at its center. The magical power of the once smashed black gate was once again refilled. If I can manage to hold Delnor off here, I'll be able to warp Kinzo out of the study this time, all the way to Kuvadorian. Lenore moved clumsily, trying to pull the blue wedge out of her foot. but it didn't even budge. Of course, Beardo didn't miss his chance. No witch would. I've got more, so get ready. There's a chance that the Kinzo Nazi mentioned does not refer to the person himself. The Kinzo Nazi spoke of might have been another name for this room, right? Kinzo had taken refuge in Kuadora and it was impossible to contact him. Perhaps Nazi called this room Father. And by contemplating inside of it, she felt as though she had received some sort of revelation from Kinzo.
We've stopped your movement. You've already lost.
Beelzebub's blue wedge pierced the base of Glanor's neck. Of course, even this didn't cause her to flinch, but her movements were restricted even further.
Interesting. Is that all?
You don't call it a full-course dinner if you stop at the soups and hors d'oeuvre. I'll hit you with the main dish and the dessert at once, so watch your stomach explode as you die. Even if, as you say, this is a closed room and impossible to escape from, you can't deny the possibility that he's still hiding in this room. I'm not talking about a hidden door. He might be under the bed or above the ceiling. He might be hiding in a truly unobtrusive blind spot that only demons could know of, right? Or it might be the Nazi who was ordered to speak, especially on Kinzo's behalf, considered herself both his representative and another Kinzo. In other words, it's possible that Nazi was also Kinzo. I've got plenty more. At 11 p.m. last night, Kinzo escaped out the window. Nazi watched him go, then locked the window. This doesn't lead to any problems. In fact, it might be the most beautiful blue truth yet. How's that? Lenore, not? There are many ways to escape from this closed room.
Know your foolishness in trying to oppose my master. There's no need for you to argue back. Just lose and sleep for all eternity.
Seven sisters appeared from Beardo's golden tornado, one after another, piercing Glanor with blue wedges. 4 blue wedges were buried into her neck, chest, gut, and thigh, including the one buried into the top of her foot. She was pincushioned by 5 stakes.
Future Summer, when's my turn?
I'll use you if I think of any more. Be quiet for now. How do you like that, Glenore, the witch hunter? After skewering and burning so many witches in the past, how does it feel to be skewered by a witch this time?
They were all ridiculous arguments, but they came fiercely one after another. There were a total of 5 wedges pierced Lenore. Her expression didn't change in the slightest. However, her movements had indeed been limited.
Phew, witches sure are scary, yeah? We can't beat twisted logic, yeah? They don't violate the Nox Decalogue, it's valid. Well done, Beatrice. Even if there was no one in this study, even if it was a closed room, that alone isn't enough to deny Father's existence.
Against a normal opponent, I'd think the matter settled by now. But this is Glanor, head inquisitor of heresy. This ruthless woman killed even her father when he violated the Decalogue.
Kinzo, now!
Right.
Now that Glanor had been pinned down, this was their last chance to recover their magical power and escape. Once again, a pitch-black gate began to rise slowly in front of Beardo and Kinzo. Though the gate had once been opened by simply drawing in the air, it wasn't so easy in the study now, filled as it was with the power of denial.
What do you think, everyone? No matter how much you question the state of the study, you can't question whether or not Father is in good health.
Oh, so you say, both you and I had better not forget that we are part of this battle, right? I cannot fight against witches, but I can fight against you. Erika grinned at Natsu with a smile more demonic than a real demon's. Natsu-san, let me ask again. Last night, you were sure you spoke with Ushimi Kinzo-san, right?
Yes, I have said repeatedly that I came to deliver a report for the day and to say goodnight.
This may be a strange thing to ask, but since it's needed to prove your innocence, please answer me straightforwardly. This Kinzo you speak of is the Ushimi Kinzo-san we all know of, right? It isn't a different person or a thing with the same name, is it?
I'm really not sure what you mean.
It's like this. You didn't, for instance, start calling this room itself Father after Father's death, right? That's what she's asking. You said you gave a daily report to Father before he went to sleep, right? That doesn't mean you gave a daily report to the wall here all by yourself inside the study called Father, right?
How rude! Nothing of the sort happened. Father is Father, he's in good health, and I most certainly gave him a report and said goodnight to him last night. I'm not trying to trick you or talk my way out of anything.
I see. In that case, can you repeat what I'm about to say? If you aren't tricking or deceiving in any way, you should be able to do it.
Fine. I'll repeat whatever you want.
Repeat it. Ushimi and Natsu did, at 11 o'clock last night, speak with Ushimi Kinzo while in the same room as him, this room. Ushirimiya Natsui did at 11 o'clock last night speak with Ushirimiya Kinzo while in the same room as him, this room. Good. Then I'll ask one last thing. Seriously now, Natsui-san, you didn't do anything like throwing Kinzo-san out the window after your conversation. Locking the window behind him. Right? Because everything still makes sense if you did. Why would I want to chase father out of the window? This is intolerable. This mockery is intolerable.
Please allow me to speak. Let it be said that when Natsui refers to Kinzo, she means Ushirimiya Kinzo and nothing else. Please allow me to speak. Natsui-san claims to have met face-to-face with Kinzo in the study at 2300.
Natsui let out a cry, but it was too late. She'd been totally sucked in by the provocation. The blue wedge to the foot representing a telephone discussion. The blue wedge to the neck representing the study itself being called Kinzo. The blue wedge to the gut representing Natsui herself being called Kinzo. The blue wedge to the thigh representing Natsui letting Kinzo escape out the window and locking it afterwards. The four of them were smashed out with a thin sound, because Natsui, the one who knew the truth, had denied them. Those denials had given the power of the red truth. Despite Kinzo's absence in this closed room, Beardo had introduced 5 ways that Kinzo could still exist. Natsui had carelessly crushed the premises behind 4 of those herself. Only one wedge remained. In other words, this was the last blue truth that could bury the contradiction of Kinzo existing in the study at 11 p.m, but not existing there later, after it became a closed room. There was only the theory that pierced Lenore's chest. Kinzo was hiding somewhere in this room. With that theory, even if Kinzo wasn't present in this closed room study, he could still exist there. If this wedge of Satan's were to be crushed, the chance of escaping this room would become hopelessly dim.
Beatrice-sama, quickly, escape while you still can.
Lenore slowly grasped the final wedge, which still pierced her chest. Apparently that vice-like grip was hurting Satan as though all the bones in her body were being broken.
All that remains is this one wedge. It was about Kinzo hiding somewhere in this room. Correct?
As a detective, I've searched all of those places. If I didn't find him, just where could he be hiding? With the final wedge still sticking out of her chest, Lenore slowly approached Beato. If this wedge was taken out, then...
Allow me to ask, just where in the study is Kinzo hiding?
Well then, maybe he's under the bed.
A check of that place has been finished.
Maybe he's in the bathtub.
A check of that place has been finished.
Inside the closet. Under the desk. Behind the curtains.
A check of that place has been finished. Check finished. Check finished.
Behind the bookshelf, behind the closet, under the carpet, under the floor, above the ceiling, behind the wall, inside the sofa, inside the chair, inside the bed, inside the blanket, inside the walls, inside the rock, inside the crack, inside the room!
Check finish, check finish, check finish, check finish, check finish, 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 check, 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 finish, 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 died. The death sentence to death. The great equalizer is death.
The great equalizer is the death.
What a fucking mess.
Perfect. No locations would work against Lenore by this point.
I should have looked at that new image's version of Delano looking funny,
Looking fucking
manic.
crazy? It's alright, we'll get to it. Sure. Delano took Beata's final desperate onslaught head on, turning everything back with a far stronger power of denial. Beat them up. Knock them down with overwhelming force. No longer does any place exist in this study for Kinzo to escape to. Beata was blown back like a leaf dancing in the wind, knocked around over and over again like an empty can lying on a road. By now, no matter how many times Beata used the blue truth, it wouldn't be able to defeat Delano's red. Which is so pathetic. You just try to talk your way out of things endlessly, trying to confuse the truth. Let me borrow Delano's words. I'm disappointed, Beatrice-san. Erica Coley delivered these decisive words to Beato, who was crawling on the ground. Detective's authority. The detective has the right to inspect all crime scenes. I have exercised this right. Therefore, I can say this. Kinzo-san is not inside this room. Furthermore, this room is a perfect closed room. From the above 2 points, I can state this fact. This room was empty the whole time. Natsu-san lied about having met Kinzo-san here last night. That means this checkmate, Beatrice-san. How's that? Simply by the existence of this room, this level of reasoning is possible for Fruto Erica. What do you think, everyone? At these words, the final wedge shattered, and at the same time, the pitch-black gate that was about to open shattered once again. This time, the warp portal had been completely destroyed. No longer would Kinzo be permitted to exist in this room, or escape from it. Beata struggled to her feet, but that was the best she could do. She no longer had the energy to fight. She had taken all of the denying red head-on from close range. It took all her strength to withstand a pain so strong, it felt like she'd vomit up all of her insides. Even Beato, who had always aimed for that title of strongest and most evil witch, couldn't do a thing against a witch hunter. No matter how sturdy a sandcastle you build on the beach, you can never win against the rising tide. Sorry, Kinzo. Looks like this opponent really was tough after all.
Beatrice, I thank you. You've done so much for me despite your remaining grudge.
I guess it's true that your life flashes by when you see death coming. I've remembered how you once looked when you were young. You were annoyingly like Battler.
I now pass on everything, my soul and qualifications of the head to Battler. I no longer have any regrets.
Battler, my apologies, how pitiful. Though I swore to fight with you once again, I must settle my accounts like this. To Beato, it seemed as though Battler had met her gaze. There was no way he could have. This Battler was the Peace Battler. There was no way he could see Beato in this high-level world. However, his eyes really did meet hers. Even though they couldn't have, Beato was sure they did. As Erica, Ava, and the others closed in on Natsu, questioning her over and over, only Battler stood apart from that tumult. His expression held none of the enthusiasm and excitement that the other humans had. It just piercingly and coldly surveyed the scene. And the expression on his face was a quiet displeasure, anger. He wasn't feeling compassion for Natsu because her lie was about to be exposed. However, he couldn't excuse Erica, a self-proclaimed intellectual rapist who simply enjoyed cornering Natsu and those who sympathized with her. Then he whispered softly,
It's useless.
Beato and the others definitely heard that. You don't think Battler might turn things around from this weakened position?
I probably could have done it back in the day, and Battler can probably do it.
Battler...
Battler, if you are indeed the man who will inherit everything from me, now is the time to prove it. Don't let the legend of the Golden Witch end here.
Battler, my boy. It's true, I met Father here last night, it's true! And he spoke to me of the Shumia family's glorious history, as well as the burden of bearing it. Your lie has already been exposed, Natsu-san. We already know that you were alone in this room last night. Isn't it about time to give up and confess? Culprits who are bad at giving up tend to go with bad mystery novels. At least in the end, please prove that this is a slightly better third-rate mystery than that.
It's useless. It's all useless.
Battler, who had been silent off by himself up until then, spoke. At first, it sounded as though he was attacking Natsu. However, when Erica realized he was glaring directly at her, his expression visibly clouded with displeasure. And just what are you calling useless?
If this is a third-rate mystery, then the detective's third-rate too. Oh, listen up. You're gonna become grandfather.
Battler? You'll become Kinzo-san? Are you saying you'll become Kinzo-san and reenact his disappearance in this room? Do you actually intend to deny my checkmate? Fool!
What is this man saying? Hey, new girls. This here is your first game, right? Sorry, but it's totally useless to call checkmate after a little something like that. It's all useless.
What are you talking about, Battler? You say you'll become dead?
Yeah, I'll reenact it. I'll become grandfather and disappear from this room.
You can't use the windows of the door, right? How would you do it? Did you find a hidden door? I don't have a clue either. Yes, not a clue. Russell. That sound wasn't just the noise of the onlookers fidgeting. It was a provocative chill that ran up Erica's spine. Interesting. I see. You're the successor to the Shumia family headship, the one who bears the head's ring. That should more than qualify you to stand in for Kinzo-san. Why don't you let us have a look at your theory? Erika's expression was no longer a challenging smile. It was malicious, overwhelmingly displeased. She couldn't conceal her anger at having this very pleasurable time of hers ruined. How will he get us out of here?
I've got it. I see, so that move is still open. So you finally figured it out, you damn geezer. Indoors and hiding under the bed, all that stuff so pitiful it brings tears to the eyes. This is the Assure Me a Kinzo we're talking about here. There's gotta be a more thrilling and exciting answer. Exactly. How pitiful that even I couldn't think of it, even though it was about me. And how pitiful that the only one of my relatives to understand me is Battler. The kid was returned after being gone 6 years and also is mysteriously halfway in purgatory now. And I'm very confused. Battler, take my place. Do not shame me.
Fuck yeah!
Sure, Gramps. I'll teach these guests what the dignity of the Assure Me a family head is all about.
What are you planning to do, Father?
Naturally, Beatrice, watch. We'll show you what being the Assure Me a family head truly entails. Dumb theories about mysteries, rather than resolving any actually family problems.
It's gonna be great. Out of Battler, what's he trying to prove? There's no way you can do anything. This is a perfect closed room.
And Natsuri, come over here. Now move as I tell you to.
Battler called Natsuri over to the window and whispered something to her with his back towards the others. Miss Lenore, you're ready for everything, right? It's not possible for Kinzo and the witch to slip out of this room, right?
Of course. Gertrude, Cornelia, and the palace guards. Double check the seal and this closed room is perfect. Please allow me to speak. Our barrier is perfect. Allow me to speak. There are no hidden doors and escape will not be granted through either door or window. Palace guards, when Battler engages the barrier, fire arrows without hesitation.
Yes, of course, Roger. Battler-sama, prepare yourself. Escaping from this room is impossible. But he'll do it now. How? He certainly can succeed even without any basis. That's what it means to be a shimmy ahead now. Ooh, let's watch.
Yeah, let's see the majesty of Riche's opponent. I'm so confused.
I'm ready.
Then I'll begin.
You should be able to figure this out by now.
I'm pretty confident I can wrap my head around it.
Everyone nodded and watched Battler's every move. Here we go.
Grandfather was lying in the bed like this, grunting his understanding of Anatsui's daily report or whatever.
Battler laid down on the bed himself. As if it still mattered now, Erika grumbled about disturbing the crime scene, but no one listened to her.
Then I stop answering and sleep. Well, realistically speaking, I probably get tired of all that talking and only pretend to be asleep. Ah, ha, ha, you really do get it.
I see that Father's gone to sleep. Bow silently and leave. Natsu lowered her head to Battler, who was still lying down in bed, and turned around. Then she started wandering around as though doing an inspection of the room.
After seeing that Grandfather was asleep, Natsu probably did an inspection of the room before leaving. Of course, she had Shan and the others clean it every day, but she still checked it thoroughly herself, making sure there was no dust piling up, making sure he hadn't run out of any consumables.
Yes, this is the room of the precious family head, so I check everything carefully myself instead of relying entirely upon the servants. I always do that.
That's true. Madam usually checks things very carefully.
Her inspections are very detailed, and she even checks all the consumables in the washroom one by one.
In other words, we're not just talking about dust on the windowsill like you see all the time on TV. She checks to see that there's even enough soap and toilet paper in the washroom. Though she probably doesn't have to do it each day, she's very devoted.
That is my routine. I mustn't slack off in my inspection of the headrooms for even a single day. So what's your point? Please keep any showing off to a minimum. Isn't getting to show off the biggest perk to being a detective? Whoa! Curious!
Savage.
Fuck!
Fucking wrecked, bitch.
But I'm the detective.
Since we're inside the study, you can probably tell, but even though we call it a study, it wouldn't be wrong to call it a second house inside the mansion. It has a sleeping room, a study, a washroom, and even a toilet and a bath. In other words, it isn't a single room. You could call it a full house. Thank you for the explanation of the room's layout. However, the move of having him hide somewhere in this room has already been defeated. He isn't hiding. However, there's gotta be several blind spots. For example, if Anatsu went into the bathroom to check the amount of toilet paper, most of the study would be out of her range of vision. In other words, for almost every location in the study, the sole observer would have disappeared.
Observe a disappearance! We've lost track of Kinzo!
Let it be said that the witch's darkness is filling the study.
Excellent. Watch as it fills with the power of darkness.
So, if the observer, if Natsu goes away, so what? What next?
Grandfather noticed that Fussy and Natsui leaving, he got up.
Why?
On a twisted night such as this, what better way to enjoy a drink than bathed in twisted weather under the night sky?
Fuck yeah, he's fucking Kinzo!
Since Natsui's in the blind spot of the bathroom, it becomes possible for Grandfather to walk about the study at will. It's possible for him to move without Natsui's knowledge. It's possible for him to move without contradicting what Natsui knew.
Warning, Battler is approaching the study door.
Allow me to speak. A noise rings out when the lock on the study door is released. Know that you cannot leave through the door without Natsui thinking something was odd.
Because Battler had acted as though he was heading for the door, Gertrude, who was sealing that door, immediately sent out a warning. Maybe it was possible for him to leave the study while in Natsui's blind spot. However... That's right. There's the sound. We know there's a loud sound whenever the auto lock is released. Even if Natsui was in a blind spot inside the study, she wouldn't miss hearing that. Of course, she'd find it odd.
Allow me to speak. Let it be said that Natsui did not hear the sound of the door opening while in the room.
Rude. Washroom and toilet are very close to the door. Even if they hadn't been, that auto lock always lets off such a massive sound. She'd be able to hear that sound no matter what. Natsui had already spoken with Erika and the others about the details of the previous night, making it quite clear that nothing out of the ordinary had occurred. Any argument that relied on Natsui failing to hear the lock wouldn't work.
Please allow me to speak once more. Kinzo entering or exiting through the door will not be permitted. Let it be said that this is a useless struggle. It is foolish. It's true, I can't break through that red-headed girl by the door. But what about you over there by the window?
Turning his back to Gertrude, who claimed that leaving through the door was impossible, Battler locked his gaze on Cornelia, who stood in front of the window.
Make sure you hold that barrier of yours up tight, because you're gonna be blasted away, okay?
By now, Battler's target was clear. It was Cornelia. It was the window. He was going to smash this closed room from the window. Unexpected to be chosen as the target herself, Cornelia was overawed for just a second, but she quickly regained her composure. Oh! She's so shocked. Oh. Poor Cornelia. On rare occasions, struggling fleeing witches will directly challenge the barriers Cornelia set up. Such witches were always fighting desperately on the brink of death.
Please allow me to speak. You are Battler's target, Cornelia. I ask that you be on your guard. Fool! God have pity on this foolish lamb. I'm no sheep. I heard the Shiromir family is an eagle.
Yeah!
The one wing.
Yeah!
Don't think you can keep me shut up in this study forever with just a flimsy window like that.
Starting from a low posture, both silent and supple, Battler ran forward like a white leopard.
Supple.
Supple! Yo! This guy couldn't possibly mean to...
Allow me to speak. There is no way to defeat my red. Know that your wish will not be granted.
Cornelia thrust out both her arms and made a sign. When she did, a red barrier closed in front of Battler.
Know that your course is a fruitless one as Shiromir Battler. Know that this window is sealed from the inside and Natsui did not help Kinzo escape. I'm not saying that Natsui helped Grandfather escape. But what if Grandfather snuck out keeping it a secret from Natsui?
But why would Kinzo go out of the window on his own?
What better way to enjoy a drink on a twisted night than leaping through the rain-swept sky?
He's motherfucking Kinzo. But this is the third floor, right? It's impossible. Even you've jumped down a flight of stairs at least once in your life, right? 3 stories is nothing for Kinzo. I wouldn't put it past him. I certainly wouldn't. That's ridiculous. Yeah, fuck it is. Blue cracks appeared in Cornelia's red barrier, and it shattered with a crisp sound. It was all far too quick. It looked almost as though she'd gotten out of the way herself in fear of Battler. Endless 9! Magic resistance power! Endless 9! Cornelia-sama, you can't block it. Retreat! At the same time, the barrier shattered. The window behind Cornelia's back was flung open. The curtains fluttered for just an instant. Though it was all filled with rain, the heavens and the courtyard were spread out in front of them. A fitting exit for an eagle leaping from this closed room.
Cornelia, repaired the barrier. As you wish, Commander Dlano. Know that you will not be allowed to break this.
Cornelia quickly returned to her senses and set up another red barrier. However, this was her last one.
Please allow me to speak. Let us accept for the time being that Kinzo escaped through the window. In that case, how did he lock a window which cannot be locked from the outside? The window was locked from the inside.
Useless.
Yeah, it's all useless.
Kinzo and Battler grinned. Did she think this feeble red could block the charge of Battler and Kinzo, the two family heads?
After Grandfather jumped out the window, Natsu probably noticed a slight draft. She then approached the window, realized it was wide open, quickly closed and locked it.
Natsui couldn't have imagined that I'd slip out of the window.
Yeah, so it's only natural that Natsui thought Kinzo was sleeping in bed.
Now that Battler had found the answer, the red barrier was more fragile than thin glass. The red magical wall of certainty had been smashed again, so easily that it disgraced the name of certainty itself. Unbelievable, right? That barrier was more firm than any Renove had ever used against Jessica, and yet it had been destroyed so easily. Though Battler was rushing fiercely and had almost reached Cornelia, she didn't step aside. Her steel spirit, worthy of the name Eisern Jungfrau, didn't allow her to step aside. She took a charm from her pocket, placed it against the thin air, and made a sign. Then not red but blue burned there. Though it was far more frail than the red barrier, it was her last method of resistance.
You won't get through, you won't. Let me speak, let me speak. Be that as it may, this is the 3rd floor. How could a wingless human escape from the window? Know that you won't get through. You won't!
Just quit your whining and watch.
Your hand is doing amazing things right now.
This is the answer.
Battler jumped. He burst through Cornelia and her blue barrier, knocked them away, and his body flew out the window through the darkness of the rainy sky. The fragments of the blue barrier scattered, beautifully adorning the surrounding air. Ooh, we got an achievement. The closed room had been smashed open. Battler flew out of the mansion. Through the sky above the rainy courtyard, all the raindrops became small round gems and were scattered through the air. Battler flew across the treasure box world of that exquisite stormy sky, through the countless gems of rain that filled it. In the sky over the world frozen in time, Lanor and Battler faced each other. If Battler, who had smashed and flown out the window, was like a knight leaping off a white horse, then Lanor was another knight who floated in the air waiting for him. In the air above the courtyard, surrounded by the Ushumia mansion frozen in time.
And sorry, I didn't bother to speak up at the time, but white horse.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Okay. The true new head of the Ushumia family and the disciple of heaven who would test him crossed paths.
Well done. When you fall into the courtyard, whether you live or you die, it won't change the fact Kinzo could have defeated this closed room. You have thrown away your life and jumped and are a martyr. Well done, you have smashed our closed room barrier. Splendid, Ushirimiya Battler. However, I am the head inquisitor of heresy, Lanor A. Nox. I cannot allow you to escape from out under my nose. Now, at the end, allow me the honor of crossing swords with you. Sure, bring it on. This game is surprisingly unrelenting.
In this world where the gems of rain fell slowly like large snowflakes on a snowy field, Lanor and Battler slowly crossed paths. It seemed slow, and yet it happened in a flash. Their gazes crossed and clashed like lightning. Night confronted night head-on, and everything would be settled with a single strike. Blue and red crossed paths.
Was it shown beforehand that a blind spot existed within the study for Natsuhi? If it wasn't shown, this theory will not be permitted. Nox's 8th. It is forbidden for the case to be resolved with clues that are not presented.
Lanor's double strike with both the blue and red blades reached out to slice Battler, and failed. Those long swords, which had never lost over the course of 100 battles, cut through empty air.
When we entered the study, its structure was clearly described. Too bad for you.
For the first time, An expression showed on Glanor's face. It was a sudden smile. She had known about that long before. However, she still couldn't let him escape without attempting that single strike. Not even with her reputation as an inquisitor of heresy on the line. She still crossed swords with Battler, even though she knew it would fail.
Yes, I knew. With your answer, Noxus 8 is not violated. Here it comes, no hard feelings. Yes, come.
In Battler's hand was a blade that shone red. That blade etched out the red truth.
Wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that Kinzo's study was a small villa he'd created inside the mansion. A study, a library, a place to sleep, and a bathroom and a washroom. It was divided into multiple rooms. That has already been shown. And it suggests that there could have been a blind spot within the room. I love the, tiny one for the wind-up.
Yeah. Without any mercy, no, without any reluctance, which would have been dishonorable, the sword of red truth cut into Glanor. It cut a beautiful hemisphere through the countless gems of rain that filled the sky.
Well done.
Time exploded into life. Both of them fell through the courtyard. One drifted down, the other tumbled through the air. Then there was a soft sound and a dull thud. The first was the sound of Battler landing gently in the courtyard. The second was the sound of Glanor crashing down.
I was expecting it to be the other way around.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, actually.
It's a great question. Why?
I was expecting Battler to be the one that just, actually fell, and then the, pseudo-magic character would be the one that was able to float.
Right.
But I guess Glanor is representing anti-magic.
I mean, she lost, so...
Yeah.
After crouching down for a while, Battler slowly stood up. Though he had jumped down from the third floor, he had landed as lightly as though he had merely jumped over a fence. Battler! Berta leaned out of the study window, looking to see if the supposedly wingless Battler had landed safely.
Berta, come on, jump.
Huh?
Window is our way out, so jump. You're not the kind of witch you can be locked up inside a closed room, right?
Study was no longer a closed room. She could jump from here, escape from here. By now, the closed room that had threatened to capture the witch and suffocate her had been destroyed. Yes! You too, Kinzo!
Go. From the moment Battler showed his answer, my spirit has already escaped from this room.
Kinzo's form became a cloud of gold butterflies and disappeared. The closed room barrier dissolved, and the power that denies magic had been scattered. Berta ran towards the window. That was the only exit from the closed room of this witch hunt. After glancing at the Chiesa sisters and the subordinates of the Inquisitor of Heresy, she raided her wound-covered body and ran towards the window, just like Battler had done. She looked like Cinderella running as she heard the bell toll. There's no way we'll let you escape! Beatrice, illusion of the witch! Erica flew at Berta, trying to latch onto Berta as she dashed. But it was like trying to catch smoke, and she landed face first on the floor. There's no way a human could catch a witch. For one such as her without love, even touching Berta was impossible. Jessica, shoot the witch! Shoot her dead! Alignment conflict, unable to fire!
Allow me to speak. I have no barrier prepared that can block Battler's blue truth.
Both Chiesa 00 and Gertrude spoke with unbelievably calm voices. No one can stop them. Not Battler, not Kinzo, not Beatrice. If these guys manage to escape my closed room, my theory, I am the detective fruit Erica! Yeah! Erica crouched, screaming and clutching at her head.
Great Golden Witch isn't going to be defeated by something like that geezer's grubby study. Still just the first Twilight. I'll teach these newcomers your game isn't that easy.
Just like Battler, Berta also flew. She drifted down through the rain treasure box world into Battler's chest. Battler caught her with both arms as though catching a feather from an angel. I love it. It was like a knight catching a princess who had been locked up in a tower.
On a white horse.
Like a beautiful picture of a scene in some fairy tale.
Crap, I think I'm in love. All these Shirmia family heads like this?
If you were to write down the unprecedented feats of Shirmia Kinzo, you would probably have an arduous tale longer than all the grimoires in the study put together. It seems the tale of the next head will be worth writing down as well. In fact, it already is being written. It's already a very, very long tale. Go.
Demons giggled on top of the roof, holding umbrellas. Then they quietly looked down over the two in the courtyard. You're not bad at all.
I guess your games toughen me up.
In shock, Beato actually praised Battler as he held her in his arms. Battler laughed in his usual carefree way. This is impossible, impossible! Erica looked down from the window and clenched her teeth, still clutching at her head. Still holding Beato in his arms, Battler grinned back.
Erica.
What?
I'm not giving the riddle of the Golden Witch to you. I'll solve it. The riddle belongs to the two of us. Right, Beato?
Indeed! My riddle is your...
Yo?
When Battler laughed evilly, Beato's face turned uncharacteristically red. But even so, she spoke while laughing loudly. My riddle is yours alone, or show me a Battler. I won't let anyone else solve it.
Listen to her saying something like that.
Battler snorted, amused that Beato had said something so out of character, and still holding Beato in his arms, he spun around in a kind of waltz. The falling gems of rain celebrated their victory over this trial. He jumped down from the third story, and he's all right. He jumped down and escaped from the closed room. This is ridiculous. This isn't reasoning. It's insane. If Battler had at least been seriously injured and writhing in the mud, Erica might still have had some ground to stand on. She might have been able to claim that Kinzo couldn't have jumped down with his old body and gotten away unscathed. However, Battler stood calmly in the courtyard, looking up at Erica with the dignity of the victor. Everyone, I'll ask one more time. This is impossible, right? There's no way a human could jump down from the third story and land unharmed. Isn't that right, everyone? Much less Kinzo-san jumping around from the third floor at his age. This isn't reasoning. Erica tried to get everyone's agreement and somehow turn things around, but their responses were no different from how they'd been a short while ago.
No, it would be impossible for Kinzo-san.
I wouldn't put it past father.
Is this father we're talking about?
There's plenty of crazy stories about that man. Something like this wouldn't surprise me a bit. What? Is there something wrong with your heads, with your brains, people? At any rate, it looks like your closed-room argument wasn't perfect. Not only the servants, but the family members also agreed. They all agreed that there was nothing strange about Kinzo jumping down from a third-floor window. Just who in the world is this Shumia Kinzo person?
Good question. I'd love to know.
Well, I'll give you 60 points.
Wait, us? Did we just get 60 points?
I think so.
Add it to the counter. I won't accept any other answer.
Kinzo would have done it with a bit more flash in his younger days. It needs some more tweaking.
Oh, and how much should it be tweaked?
He might have jumped down with me in his arms.
Got it. Next time I'll do that.
If you think you can, just you try. Eda's voice grew very faint and she gulped. Then her body suddenly crumbled away into a cloud of gold butterflies. It was because many people had rushed up to the window, and she was being bathed with gazes filled with the anti-magic toxin. Beda's body became invisible to them and melted into the air. So to their eyes, it appeared that Battler was standing all alone out in the courtyard.
Battler, you okay?
It looks like he's fine, thank goodness.
You ain't dead, are you?
Thank goodness.
I have lost. In that case, for the benefit of those people in the study as well, deliver your final blow to me. Use your final blue truth to show how Kinzo escaped from the closed room of that study.
There was no pain in Delanor's expression. Pleasure and pain never showed up on her face in the first place. However, she was only barely able to rise to her feet, using her long sword as a crutch. It was easy to guess at how heavily she'd been damaged. But despite her lack of an expression, you could tell that this was a loss that she could accept. Battler and Delanor turned to face each other.
Here I go. Yes, come.
As though readying herself, Delanor quietly closed her eyes, but she still stood tall and maintained her air of dignity.
This is my blue truth.
The blue power gathered as it slowly approached Delanor, then he faced the rainy sky and yelled out the blue truth.
Shumia Kinzo escaped from the study through the window and Natsui couldn't see it. Natsui didn't notice and locked the window. In this way, Natsui saw Grandfather go to bed, yet Grandfather was able to escape from the study without contradicting the lock of the window or the door sealed by the receipt. I've just demonstrated that it was physically possible for him to escape. Therefore, this battle is over.
The blue wedge flashed through the courtyard along with a blue bolt of lightning, roaring down towards Lionor's forehead as she stared up at the sky.
Beto's game isn't forgiving. It's doubtful whether the classic patterns of the mystery genre even work here. Your swordsmanship isn't bad, but you ought to be a bit more flexible in your thinking.
A massive blue wedge that looked like a pillar was above Glanor's forehead, and had stopped with its tip just slightly touching her. It didn't run her through. It made no mark larger than being poked with a pencil. When Battler snapped his fingers, the blue wedge shattered and became a shower of translucent gems. No, drops of rain that poured down over the courtyard. Glanor sat down in a dazed sort of way. Amidst the thunder and rain, the successor to the Oshiromia family headship faced the people staring down from the study and spread his arms wide.
Welcome to Beto and Mai's game. Welcome, Furuto Erika.
How amusing, Oshiromia Battler. Good, truly good. I'll chew it to bits, this riddle of the witch, all the way deep into its guts while it's still alive. Battler and Beato both looked calmly up at Erika, who couldn't contain her evil laugh.
This is good stuff. Erika, that was so lame.
Lady Burncastle, my apologies. That look on your face, it's so incredibly laughable that I'd like to smash it and put a frame around it. My double is so pathetic, lame. Bathed in the sneers of Burncastle, a being who was like a mother to her, Erika was so ashamed that it looked as though she'd chew her lower lip to pieces.
Truly like a mother of the Oshiromia family abusing their children.
Someday, I'll definitely, Oshiromia Battler, Beatrice Oshiromia, Nazi!
This riddle is ours. I won't let anyone get in the way, Beatrice.
Yes!
This is still before Battler actually joined the game, so I have no idea what the fuck is going on here.
It's true.
This is throwing a real spanner in the works in my thinking.
I wonder what you could learn from this scene.
I'm confident I can reason it out, but just off the top of my head...
What are you reasoning out? Tell me.
So, I mean, first of all, if we're taking the opinion that, like, Battler is the author of all of this, and he's using this to, like, cope with his struggles or whatever, it makes it kind of like, I don't know, him writing about himself from the perspective of witches would be like, I'm trying to put this into words off the top of my head. Like, normally I'd sit here and agonize over the phrasing for a fair bit, but
yeah.
Basically, it's like he's looked over as an author the other things that have been written.
Okay.
And like that's why there are all of these callbacks to like previous games, I think.
Sure.
Because he's now, as an author, like re-looking over the stories that have been told through the perspective of Nox.
Okay.
And also the fact that his character was aware of of a writing that supposedly happened after the murders. Mm-hmm. Is kind of in support of that. He's like looking at it from an outside perspective after this has happened, trying to figure out, you know, like what the original author intended in their writing of like the message bottles or whatever.
Sure.
And that's also why we're seeing purgatory, I think, in these scenes, like the original Tea Party like purgatory, where it's like, it kind of feels like a level below the Golden Land kind of purgatory that we've had. Mm-hmm. Where it's like he's seeing how the original culprit used that kind of space in their writing and trying to put it into his own.
Sure. Okay.
I don't know, like, it's a bit...
I think you can take a more kind of grounded look at the characters in that scene. What do you know about the characters that we just saw fight in that scene? What do we know about them
What about them in this game is have you picked up on? What do you think you
Which
picked up on?
characters? Like,
I mean, Erica and Battler and Beatrice, Kinzo to some extent. Like I felt like at the end there, the focus wasn't really on Nazi by the end of it. It was more on Battler and Beatrice and Erica and Lenore. Those 4 characters in particular.
yeah, I mean, I'm just not sure what you're asking, really.
I'm wondering if you can figure something out by the way that this game is being carried out right now, because you've made some observations about the characters in this game that's different from other games, and I'm wondering if you say that Battler is an accomplice.
Yes.
As example. Why would Battler, if he's an accomplice, get all this trouble of like defending Nazi? Like, what even is the point of that? Why is that a thing that's happening? What is the significance of that scene?
I think probably the first problem that I have is that we still don't know how much of these scenes is reliable, because we're still seeing them from what seems to be Battler's perspective.
Okay, so why isn't it reliable? I know that we've gone through this before, but I just want you to tell me why is it not reliable?
I mean, Shannon and Cannon are there in the same room together, and if they're the same person, then Erica would notice that they're like, one of them is missing, or she'd be hearing that there's one of them, like, she wouldn't have been told about one of their names or something. So, if I'm sticking with that theory, which I'm fucking going suns out, guns out on this one.
Sure.
I'm going with it as long as I can. Until I can come up with something better, is like, we're getting a bunch of very unreliable scenes in terms of what actually happens in them. And if we're also, like, looking at why Battler is doing all of these things, if I'm suggesting that he's an accomplice, you know, the extent to which he's an accomplice could be, like, a bit of a stretch. Poor phrasing, but the point being, like, you know, maybe he's an accomplice in that he's stitching up Natsui, and he feels bad about that, so he's, like, defending her in...
Maybe I should shift my angle of attack a little bit.
Yeah.
What about the scenes that aren't in the real world? The scenes between... The like, dialogue between Lenore and the other magical characters and Battler, the way, like, he was able to punch through Cornelia's barrier of red truth, for example. It seemed like they had a counter to nearly everything, but he was able to punch through it, which I thought was pretty impressive.
Uh-huh. So what, you're saying, like, what the...
I don't know. I'm just wondering what you think about Battler in that scene. Like, was that a good thing? Like, is this... Personally, like, when I read this the first time, I was cheering. I feel like you were still trying to, like, puzzle it out, even though the truth is that Kinzo is dead, and that this isn't a victory for, like, uncovering the truth at all, right? So why is it portrayed in, like, a positive way? Do you think that was a positive scene, or do you think that it was, you know, the North Wind and the Sun tactic? What did you think of that?
I don't know. I think, let's go over who's in that scene. Like, Nox and all of that, and the Einsfriend Jungfrau, however the fuck you pronounce that shit.
Whatever it is.
I don't know. To me, they clearly represent, like, a more authorial perspective.
Okay.
I don't know where they'd fit, like, in the scope of, like, the meta-narrative of the story that we've had so far.
Okay.
I feel like they're more...
Is either the good guys or the bad guys?
I mean, traditionally they'd be the good guys, right?
Yeah.
Because they're on the side that Battler was initially fighting.
Yeah.
But we're kind of getting back to the point where we were in episode 2, where Battler wasn't able to accept any of his family as any of the extended family as the culprits. Mm-hmm. He's, like, defending them and saying, like, nah, fuck this shit.
Yeah, and I thought we'd moved on from that perspective of him, like, defending people for, you know, just because he didn't want to suspect them.
Yeah.
Do you think he's, you know, reversed a bit?
I don't know, but, like, there's first of all the whole, like, thing where he's supposedly trying to reawaken the Golden Land Purgatory Beatrice.
Okay.
But he hasn't joined the game at this point, so I don't feel...
He hasn't joined the game?
Yeah, because...
I mean, that was Battler who jumped out the window.
No, but, like, this is supposedly still Peace Battler, right?
Right.
Because by the time Battler joined the game in the Golden Land, like, Purgatory thing, was after Hideyoshi's died. Right.
So Battler, this isn't actually Battler, this is someone else?
I mean, I assume it's whoever's Lambda playing the piece of Battler.
Okay.
Which if Lambda is playing the witch side and Byrne's playing the human side, it makes sense that Battler's being used to defend the witch side.
Okay.
But I don't know. I feel like I'm a bit too focused on the thing that I'm trying to write up right now. Which,
Yeah, I'm trying to get you focused on the characters in the moment. In case it wasn't obvious, I'm trying to make you look at these characters and see why they're acting the way that they are.
Like,
because that is a good point. Like, if Battler isn't Battler, Battler is being played by Lambda, there might be some things you can figure out about Lambda by the way that she plays Battler.
I mean, I guess, like, you know, she's defending witches in a scope where it's like, phrasing, words. I don't know. It's like, who actually? It was Natsuki, Kinzo, Beatrice, and kind of like everyone else agreeing with Battler.
Yeah.
And then Battler's being the head.
And then he jumps out the window.
And he jumps out the window.
Yeah, and then he like fights Lenore, and then he catches Beatrice, and then they have a little thing, and then that's scene.
I don't know. It's weird for me to think out because as far as I can tell, Lambda is playing both Battler and Beatrice at this point in the story.
Sure.
And then, as far as I can tell, Byrne is just controlling Erica.
Okay. So what does that mean?
And I guess also probably Lanor and fucking the Chester sisters just for this round.
Yeah.
So
Would you mind if I propose something?
Please do.
This is on the Rekenjiba forums.
I'm not like stuck in terms of where my thinking is. I'm just struggling to answer your question.
So I'm not fishing for anything in particular, but one of the things that I noticed, if Lambda is playing both Battler and Beatrice, and she has constructed this scene where Battler defeats Lenore or whatever, or however that plays out. But like after that, she has Beatrice like throw herself out the window, and it's like a fairy tale, and they're in love, but they're not playing themselves. Lambda is playing them. I'm gonna throw out a proposition that Lambda fucking ships them hard. Like, that is one of the things that I would take away from that scene.
Okay.
Stop worrying about Lambda being like, I am the evil game master. And more look at, like, she ships them. She, like, wants them to be together. That is a thing that she wants.
Yeah, I suppose.
And it's great.
I don't know. I'm kind of like stuck in the space of the piece that I'm writing right now.
Sure.
In which Byrne and Lambda are more representative of the author's, like, uncertainty in the story that they're trying to write.
Okay.
Like, almost as though the author feels as though there's something else pulling the strings of what they're writing. So in that thing that I'm writing, basically the way that I'd play this out is that the author is kind of, like, uncertain about that fact, whether it's, like, you know, love that's kind of being played out without their control, or if it was, you know, the will of something that they couldn't control.
Okay. Maybe.
So, I mean, yeah, that's kind of like, that's where I'm stuck in terms of, like, trying to answer your question, because that's where my head is right now. But
well, that's why I'm here, to try and encourage you to think about the characters as characters and not just as story devices. Because that's very much how I approach this. It's part of why I almost wish that we could have done this both blind, so that you'd be like, oh shit, it's how the witches represent this and that, or whatever. And I'd be like, but fuck, Lambda, like, ships them so hard. It's amazing. It's such a great little thing. But, yeah, I mean, it's cool. You're taking a different approach. I'm just trying to highlight those things, because I think they're important.
I think the problem is that I'm still, like, looking at the characterization here, but I'm looking at it through a different lens, where...
Definitely.
I'm trying to solve the why of why this is being written.
Yeah.
You're looking at the characters within what I'm saying is being written.
Yep.
It's a very different scope on the same problem.
And I don't think one is superior to the other. I think that both are entirely valid.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
if anything, I feel like it's better that your character approach was the one that went in with more knowledge here.
Yep.
Because it's definitely the thing that I'd miss, so it'd be the thing that, like, we need to bounce off each other for.
If you want me to be more, like, a bit more forward with my talk about how the characters are, this has been a long ending talk, but I think it's important. Would you like me to be a bit more aggressive about, like, this is what the characters are thinking? Because I don't want to, push too much, but it might help.
I was fine with it until you said the word help. Because I don't feel like I need help.
Sorry, I don't mean help.
It's more that I'm just looking at it differently.
Give a different perspective.
I'd be down for that.
I don't mean help you.
Even if it's just like when we get to the tea parties, if you're
I mean, that's sort of what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is the thing that you missed. Why don't I poke at you?
I don't know. Either way, next time.
Bye.